Hey friends, welcome back. Today I want to talk about snacking while on keto, even if they are keto friendly snacks. Should you indulge? Should you have more in a day? How often should you have them? And will they stall your success? So if you want to talk all things snack related, then go ahead and stay tuned. Hey guys, happy Sunday. I hope you guys are having a great week and a great start to your March. I know life is a little chaotic, but I hope you guys are making the best out of it. Making sure we're sanitizing, disinfecting, washing our hands, living but being cautious all at the same time. So just know I'm thinking of all you guys. I'm praying for all of us, and that, again, just using caution and making smart choices. So you guys might think I sound a little hoarse. It's allergies, I swear, okay? We're gonna move on from that. So I wanted to kind of talk about snacks, keto approved snacks, all those things. So you've seen this week I did do a keto snack video, and I had got a couple messages and people were like, well, that was a lot of money for only like a week's worth of snacks and this and that. How often are you eating those? All things of that nature. Even though they are keto, even they are low carb, they, don't spike your glucose, they maintain ketosis for you, you should always, with like any way of eating, eat in moderation. I am not having a snack every day. Even if it's allocated in my macros, I don't snack every day. I use that as a treat. Just like if you were just counting calories, and yeah, you could eat a piece of cake every day if you put them little bunch of calories behind. Absolutely. But it's just one of those things that I like to have on hand. A lot of those snacks, I like to also throw in my husband's lunchbox. So when he's driving home from work and if he's starving and he's like, look, I'm going to get home and I'm going to super binge, he has those in there that can kind of fill him up. He always has a couple extra bottles of water in his lunch bag. He can have that on his ride home if he gets stuck in traffic. And then he will be kind of, held over until he's able to get home and eat. That's why I say a lot of these snacks are travel friendly. So you're able to take them in the car, take them, around with you. A lot of people will say, oh, even though those are keto, just because they say keto doesn't mean they, yes, I get it. I get that there are going to be somebody on here watching this video that does strict, stern keto and follows everything to the book because Dr. So-and-so tells you you shouldn't. That is wonderful. And if you know that works for you, that's even better. But there's a good majority of us who are just doing this and just kind of going along, as we're not as strict on ourselves, and that's okay. As long as you're still seeing results, you're not continuously gaining weight, and you're always going to want to remain in a caloric deficit, okay? That kind of brings into, should you count calories? Should you count macros? Honestly, if you were just starting keto and you're just finding me for the first time today, hi, how are you? No, I don't think you should jump on counting your macros right away. I don't think you should necessarily even try to figure all that stuff out yet. You will learn. If you have not learned, there is more than one way to keto, and there are more than one person in this world who thinks they know how to do it, and they know how to do it the best. You will find hundreds and thousands of people on here who have channels, or you will go down the Reddit forum rabbit hole and you will dive deep, and there's going to be another 50 million ways to do it. Some people will say, I'm able to have 50 net carbs a day and I'm able to maintain ketosis and lose weight because that works for them. You know what I mean? That's the thing about keto, is it's very personalized, and not everything works for everyone. And I know I get some comments about the way I eat or what I eat and how I do it. And, this is what works for me. And you know what? Sometimes what works for me may work for you. And I'm able to share that and you guys can implement it. Or you guys might see what I'm doing and kind of maneuver it and manipulate it to fit your way of life. And we're able to share our experiences in our lives and what works for us with each other. It's a community. And I try to, I guess they call it like a platform. I try to use this platform to motivate and inspire not only myself but you guys, because it's a long journey and it's a hard journey and not everybody can do it, because as you can see by the obesity rate, there's a lot of people who choose not to because it isn't easy. And if we can make it easier and we can give people pointers, tips and tricks, then hell, that's great. You know what I mean? I wish I had this years ago. So yes, that bag of snacks, that will last us for about a month. You know, I think I bought 4 bags of Quest chips. I still have 3 left in there. You know, we're not just like, oh man, I could have 2 bags of Quest chips today because I have them. You know what I mean? We spread them out. It isn't like, because we have it, let's eat it all. You know, protein bars, stuff like that. I like to use those things from when I'm on the go. I have meal replacement shakes that I've been using for a long time that I really like to have. That when I know, you know, if I'm going to go right from the gym and I'm going to have to hit the grocery store and do all these things, I pack that and I take it with me, because I have a very bad habit of when I'm like starving, that I am like a bottomless pit and I get so agitated about it, I get ravenous and I just like eat. And my mouth doesn't have time to catch up with my brain, and my brain doesn't catch up to my stomach. And then by the time I'm done and I'm like, oh, I can't eat another bite, I am overly filled, overly stuffed, and I made really bad choices. So I know for myself that I have to prevent that. So if I know, you know, I'm going to be out and I'm going to go from the gym to the store, or I know I'm going to be, you know, running with the kids all afternoon, I'll take a meal replacement shake, or I'll take one of those bars or something. I'll grab a bag of Quest chips. Also, when we go and do stuff with the kids, I like to have those Quest chips around because I'm able to have like a sandwich and chips, and that's it. You know what I mean? Those snacks and treats are for convenience, okay? They're to make this journey a little bit more convenient. Maybe you're going to the movies and everybody's bringing this and that. You can kind of be like, all right, well, you know what? I know I got one of those Reese Cup Fat Bombs in there. I'm gonna grab one of those for my sweet tooth. I'm gonna grab a bag of these Quest chips, throw them in there, and I'm gonna buy a water or whatever you wanna drink, and you know, you're all good. It's easier to remain steady on this way of eating and to be included and not feel excluded from everybody else who's eating differently than you, okay? So there's like a lot of different ways to include those. Even with things I make, you know, you guys will see me do a lot of baked goods, cakes, muffins, stuff like that. A lot of them I will just separate out and I'll make them for Leo for lunch, or I will take them and I will bring them to my parents. We don't just have a cake sitting here so I can sit there and eat. Even though it's keto and it's low carb, low sugar, all the things, it's still calorically heavy. It still has a heavy calorie count, and we're still keeping in mind that, because in order to, you know, if you're trying to drop the weight, you're going to want to make sure you're in a deficit, okay? So keep all these things in mind. You know, it's just like with any treat, okay? I follow this girl. I think she's on The Biggest Loser now because I see her all the time. I go to Planet Fitness and she's part of that Biggest Loser thing, and I want to say she's like on the poster, and I want to say her name's Erica, and I don't remember what her like whatever her YouTube name or Instagram name is. So maybe Erica Gets Fit or something like that. She was the one who had the thyroid cancer, and then they found it by accident, and then now she like lost a ton of weight. And she would, I remember when she was like steadily into her weight loss, because I've been following her for years, she would do a donut a week. She would go every Wednesday in the morning and get herself one donut. Now, that was her treat. She allowed herself that one treat. So maybe allow yourself one treat as well, whatever it may be. You know what I mean? A piece of candy or whatever, okay? And it makes it last. And you know, that maybe gives you something to look forward to. And she was able, I want to say she lost like over 150 pounds. She looks phenomenal. And she's one of the coaches on The Biggest Loser. Sorry about that. And, but that's the thing though, like she even says, okay, you know, she didn't do keto or anything like that. She just did like a caloric deficit, but it's the same idea. You know, you allow for these things, not daily, but weekly and as a treat. Because unfortunately, those treats will catch up to you, even if they're approved. Just like with Weight Watchers and their Weight Watchers ice cream, it will sneak up on you. And sometimes people can't just have one. That's why you will never see me buying any of the Atkins stuff. Even though it's convenient, and I know a lot of people say, oh, okay, they want to know for like long-standing food. What should I get for if I wanted to prepare for whatever may happen in the future? A lot of people do the Atkins freezer meals. I feel like maybe in a time like that, that would be, let me turn this off. That would be okay. But I think their price is really, really high, and I would just rather cook fresh. It's just my way. But if push came to shove, those would always be a great option. But things like that, like the amount of calories they have in there and the portion and the freshness and the taste isn't worth it to me. You know what I mean? That's the same thing I do with why I make a lot of my goodies, because I know exactly what's in there. I know exactly what I'm using, and I portion mine out. Sometimes they'll say, oh, this is a recipe good enough for 8, and I'll try to squeeze it out for 12. You know what I mean? That's why I always kind of promote making things yourself, because you're going to save money, it's going to be fresh, and you can kind of maybe make them a little bit less carbs if you use different ingredients, or if you make the recipe, the serving size a little bit more. You know what I mean? So those are all just tips and tricks. Again, you know, you do what works for you. Some people will swear by eating those Atkins meals and stuff like that, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just, I mean, they're great for convenience, but I really wanted to hone in on that snack idea, because people had seen too that I bought at Costco, like I bought pork rinds and stuff like that. I weigh out a lot of my things, and I know people will say, well, why do you weigh out your pork rinds? Because they still have calories. If you guys have not invested in a scale for your food, you need to. That is something that is 100%. I don't think you should have a scale for your weight, but you definitely should weigh out your portions, because even with my oldest child right now, even though I don't have her on any like specific weight loss thing, I want her to have a really great relationship with food, and she can get older and she can make her own choices. So even with my daughters, and they're making their chips for their lunches for school, you know, they can suck down a bag of chips real quick. You know how kids are, and they're just snacking. And I'm like, all right, well, before we do that, let's get the scale. What is this portion size? And they'll take a portion size with them, just because, you know, first off, it's mindless eating, and I want them to know, like, this is what a portion size is. This is what you're supposed to eat. When you get a bag of chips, you're not supposed to eat the whole bag, you know. And I feel like that's the slippery slope that I went down when I was younger. You know, I would get a bag of Flamin' Hots and I would max that whole bag, honey. You couldn't tell me nothing. And in reality, you could only have like a quarter of it. And then I at least could have had a quarter of it, hit that craving, and then had some, you know, to portion out for myself at a later date. And that's what I stress to my children. You don't have to stress anything to your kids, because they ain't my kids. But that's just kind of what I think we should all look at as a society, is portion control. Even while on keto, don't think because, you know, cheese, bacon, and avocados are, you know, low in carb, and you know, even with cheeses are not 0 carbs. They're less than 1 carb. They're not 0. So and they're still calorically heavy. So always get that scale out. Always make sure, because the cheeses will sneak up on you. You know, the avocados will sneak up on you. You know, even with fruits and stuff. Like I have berries. When my kids don't eat them all, but I'll have like strawberries, but whatever I can get on sale. But I make sure like I weigh them out, because they can sneak up on you. I still get the fresh fruit in there. I still get that taste, but I'm making sure I'm not going crazy, because that was why I was so overweight my whole life. I am a mindless eater. If I'm in front of the TV, I'm not even paying attention, and I'll be just eating for no reason. You know, like literally sometimes I'll see like everybody sitting down and they're snacking, and I'm like, oh, I can get something. And then I literally will have to pause and be like, am I really hungry? And then I'm like, I don't know, maybe I could eat. I'll have like a water, and then I'll wait a few more minutes. And if it passes, then I know I'm not hungry. and I'm just doing it to be inclusive. You know what I mean? Because you see other people eat and you're like, oh, I can eat. You know what I mean? I do that a lot when I go to my mom's house. For whatever reason, first thing I do when I go to my mom's, hey mom, how are you? I give her a hug and a kiss, and I'll grab a water, and then I go right to her fridge and see what she has. And I'm like, I'm not even hungry. And I do it so many times. And this is something that I have to work on with myself, because it's home, and home, you know, even though this is my house here and this is my home, but home, nothing beats going home to your mom and dad's house, you know, to your childhood home. And it's comforting. And, you know, to me, being home was comforting and comfort food. And I always go to snack, and my mom's like, can I make you something? And no, I'm not hungry. Oh, let me make you something. No. And I literally say, Mom, I'm not hungry. Please don't make me anything. You know, so these are things that I'm learning. The older I get, the wiser I'm getting, and I'm watching my triggers, you know. So this is just kind of something I wanted to touch on. I just want you guys to know that, you know, no one's healed. I feel like food addiction is so real. And me and my dad were talking about it. You always are going to have to eat. If you're, you know, they treat alcoholism and drug addiction, you know, where you don't have it in your face and stuff like that. And you still have to eat to live, you know, and you're learning to have this new relationship, whether you are having, you know, whether you're on keto, Atkins, Weight Watchers, it's a whole new relationship, and you're reintroducing yourself, and you are literally leaving it up to you, essentially the addict, to make the best choices. So I know a lot of people stay away from these keto stacks because it's a trigger for them. And if you know that's a trigger for you, then don't do it, you know. But if it's not, and you could have the self-control, which I can, I'm learning, it's convenience, and whatever helps you guys stay on your journey and stay on the right path. And you know, I'm here for it, you know. So that's what I wanted to talk about. I hope you guys are having a great week. Don't forget, next Sunday at noon Central Standard Time, we are going to do a YouTube Live. So make sure you guys are joining in. You guys are here for it. That's Benny, I'm sorry. It's nice out here, and there's dogs all around, and he's losing his mind. But I'm gonna wrap this video up before my dog ruins this whole video. But I love you guys. Don't forget to be here next Sunday, and I hope you guys have a great week. And remember, we're doing the challenge, no scale, just pictures and measurements, and we'll bring it back on the 29th. But all right guys, I'm out of here. I'll see you all in the next one. Take it easy, friends.